Good morning, traders. Happy Thursday, August 13th. Welcome back to another episode of 20-Minute Trader TV. All right, we have another interesting morning ahead of us. Yesterday was CPI, today is PPI, and tomorrow we find out whether the American consumer is still spending with retail sales. So Wall Street's basically getting a report card this week. 3 report cards in a row. But if you guys are new here, my name is Kai. I'm a 20-Minute Trader student. And now I'm a mentor. So now I teach you guys actually how to trade. So I've been doing this for about a year. Before this, I actually had no trading experience, never traded on a chart before. And now I'm totally comfortable. So I juggle a full-time career. You know, I have parent responsibilities and a real life. And this is just kind of what I do on the side. So Jeremy asked me to host because I learned the system, and just like you guys as students watching me, that's how you learn. You just watch and learn, right? So I want the beginners to just know that you can learn this, I learned this, and as long as you learn the strategy, practice the process, little by little, everything will start making sense and clicking. So this morning, our focus is really simple. CPI gave us some relief yesterday, and today is PPI. What is that? That's the producer inflation report. Basically, it's the producer. How are the businesses doing, right? So yesterday was the consumer, today's the businesses, and tomorrow is going to be the retail sales as far as like us, if we're still spending money, even though the jobs reports are actually pretty light. So I will be trading a simplified version of the gold pattern. I'm going to walk you guys through the chart, show you and tell you exactly what I see. We will analyze it together. If you guys are interested in this, go ahead and type the word class in the comment section. If you guys are in Facebook or Instagram, we will send you a free ticket to Jeremy's web class. If you guys are in YouTube or anywhere else, just click the link in the description, register for the free web class, get your ticket, and ask all of your questions live. All right, now let's wake up the chat while everybody's piling in. Let's see where everybody is tuning in from. Say it loud, say it proud. Let me know what city, state, country you're in. And let's see. Good morning, you guys. Hello, hello. Good morning to you. Good morning, ZGL Warrior, Nishi, Mohabo, Roberto, Gerard, all right, NGL Warrior is from New York City. I am in Southeast Florida. Let's see who's in the chat already. All right, we got Grandpa Trades from Palm Beach. Good morning to you. Cash class is Robert from Phoenix, Arizona. Good to see you. Grandpa Trades already. He's ready to trade. Thank you, Jennifer. She said you do an excellent job instructing. That's my goal. I want to teach you guys how to trade with confidence. Mindful Sparks is in Alberta, Canada. Jennifer, you are in Florence, Kentucky. I have a friend in Bowling Green, Kentucky. She's like one of the coolest people. Runners in Charleston, South Carolina. Cali Girl is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Oh, I think I see somebody where I live. Oloranique is from Atlanta, Georgia. Moonlights is in Miami, Florida, pretty close to me. Vasquez Herb is in Fort Lauderdale. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Casper is in Thailand, Bangkok, Thailand. PM Johnson's in San Diego. Tanya's in Atlanta. So I can see where you guys are writing because I'm live streaming from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram live right now. So I can see you guys. All right, cool. All right, thank you guys for doing that. It's always cool to see where everybody is tuning in from. So, and then you guys can also see where you guys are tuning in from as well, which is actually really, really cool. So while I'm trading, while I'm teaching, you guys are welcome to ask any questions that you guys want in the chat. I actually encourage it because if you are a little bit confused or you're questioning something, go ahead and write your questions in the chat and either I will get to them live or somebody from 20-Minute Trader will also answer them as well. So don't feel like your question is going to go totally unanswered. All right, quick legal check, really quick. I got to just appease the lawyers and the legal department. So this is the quick disclaimer. Everything we're doing here is purely educational. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not treat this like a copy and paste trade room, because it is not. I will be teaching. I'm going to take bad trades on purpose and good trades on purpose. And we're going to walk through exactly why these trades are working or why they may have failed. Okay. Because I want you guys to start noticing the green flags and the red flags, because I do eventually want you guys to look at the trades that I'm taking and ask yourself, would I take the same trade? No, I don't really like that. I'm not going to take this trade. Because being a trader, you have to be independent. Yes, you can copy trade some people sometimes, but think about it. If they lose their trade, how do you know what went wrong? Because a lot of traders, we all take losses. That's just a part of the game. We all take wins, but I don't think a lot of traders explain why they lost or what went wrong in the trade. So trading does have risk. Good setups sometimes lose, right? Bad setups sometimes win. But our responsibility here is we are going to follow the gold pattern strategy. We're going to manage our risk. We're going to protect our capital. And that's pretty much it. So legal box is checked, charts up. Let's get into it, you guys. All right. So the platform I'm trading on is tradingview.com. You guys can also get the app, whatever you guys want to do. Now, let's go through the chart really quick. So most important line on this chart is the blue line. The blue line is MES, or the S&P 500. To get that on your chart, just go to the top left, symbol search, type in MES, select the first one, S&P 500 Futures Index. Change your candles to align, and you can also change the color just like mine. So every trade I'm going to take is off of the blue line. Okay, I can trade it. We're in the futures market, so I can trade this going up for a profit or down. And I'm going to play the blue line against the orange line. The orange line is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's the 30 largest companies by industry in the United States. And frequently, they are going to move in the same direction or the general direction, but they're built completely differently, okay? They own different companies, different sectors have different weights, and when they start splitting apart, like right now, they're not splitting apart just yet. You guys can see that these lines are pretty parallel. Now, when they start splitting apart, that's what we call divergence. That's going to be the first criteria that we're actually looking for. So to get your YM on the chart, go right next to symbol search to compare symbols. It's a plus with a circle around it. And type in YM. It's the first one. Select new price scale. And then again, change your candles to lines. You can also change it orange just like mine, so our charts look similar. All right. Now, the white line on the bottom is the relative strength index. It's the only indicator I'm going to use. And I'm actually going to use it as an entry point. It's going to give me my entry point. So to get RSI on the chart, you're going to go up to indicators, type in RSI, relative strength index. It's the first one that comes up, okay? The only thing I changed there is the color of the line. It's all the default settings, okay? So let's talk about what we're actually looking for. How do we spot the gold pattern? So I did mention divergence. It's just a fancy word for the blue line and the orange line going in opposite directions. So if the blue line is pointing upwards, I'm going to need the orange line to be flat or horizontal or pointing down in the opposite direction if the blue line's pointing up, because the blue line's telling me it wants to go up, and I will trade it up, but I need orange flat or pointing down in the opposite direction. Now, if the blue line's pointing down and it's telling me it wants to go down, I need the orange line to be flat or horizontal or pointing up in the opposite direction, and I will trade the blue line that's pointing downwards, okay? So that's kind of divergence, and I will show you plenty of examples. Other than that, when I see divergence, I don't just jump into a trade, okay? What I need to see is I need to see where I'm going to actually be entering. So the white line is going to give us our timing and our entry. So for instance, the blue line's pointing up right now. Just like the orange line, I actually need the white line to pop against me. I need the white line to pop down so I get an entry point to trade the blue line going up. So if blue line's going up, I need the white line to pop down, and we'll trade it upwards. If the blue line's pointing down, I need the white line to pop up for an entry point, okay? So divergence gets my attention. RSI gives me my entry point. If the whole setup isn't there, I do not trade it, okay? I will pass on that trade, no problem. Right now, we are getting divergence. Clear as day. Blue line is pointing up. Orange line is pointing down. They are spread apart far and wide. This is good, okay? Blue line's pointing up. What do we need to enter the trade? We need the white line to actually pop down. And it's not like a number to pop down in the RSI. It's just, it needs to be a pretty large movement. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to enter this first trade and see how it goes. So I entered the trade right here in the white line. I'm going to put a little circle on it. So I entered the trade right here because the blue line's pointing up, the white line popped down, and I entered the trade to go up. So this blue line on the chart, this is my break even or my entry price. Next to it, to the right, is the live price. So it's actually telling me every single second if I'm in profit or I'm in a loss. And then next to it, the X is a close position button. Okay, so I can exit the trade at any point in time. And then, so you guys can see, I have automatic bracket orders. So every single trade that I enter, I'm going to know what I'm willing to make in this trade and lose in this trade. Okay, so if I want to trade the blue line going upwards, my take profit or my win button is above me because I'm betting it's going to go up, right? So if the blue line touches this green line, this is my take profit, and I don't have to click anymore. Automatically, the software will exit me in a profit. If the trade goes against me, okay, I have to be prepared for that. If the blue line turns around and starts heading downwards and the blue line hits this orange line on the bottom, this is my stop loss. So this will exit me for predetermined loss, and that's it. Not anything more, not anything less, okay? So these are called automatic bracket orders. So every time I enter a trade, you're going to see a take profit and a stop loss. Yes, you can move them around, but typically we try not to manage our trades and we let the trade play out. But I'm just showing you guys what it's actually going to look like taking a trade. And then the trade would look something like this. Does that help you guys? Because if I'm going up, green, profits on the way up. If the trade starts going against me and starts heading downwards, the red on the bottom should show you guys that I'm like in the negative. Other than watching the price over here, okay? So I'll leave that on the chart. Let's see how this trade plays out. I'm just taking like a random trade. I'm not like, oh, this is an amazing trade or anything like that. But I do want you guys to see what it looks like. So let's analyze the chart while we're waiting for the trade to play out. So all I'm doing is I am on a 1 second chart, and I know that sounds crazy fast and nobody trades on a 1 second chart, but for the gold pattern, all we're looking for is these lines to disagree. And I see that on a 1 second chart. If I'm watching a 1 minute chart, they're going to be tracking completely together. Okay. Because they only come apart for a few seconds, maybe a minute, and then they come back together. So I'm just zooming out so I can see the larger trend. So if I'm zooming out, we can see that pretty much ever since 8:30, we've been in an uptrend, right? So we're going up. So typically we want to trade with the trend. So we want to trade upwards, or what we also call longs or buys are going up. Okay. Now, if the blue line was going down, the trend was going down, that's called a short or a sell to trade downwards. Okay. So I'm also going to be using other terminology that you guys can pick up on, which is good. And then this was the PPI this morning. This was that news report at 8:30 Eastern. So it tends to move the market pretty large, pretty erratic, but we ended up keeping that same uptrend. So right now, and then I also want to see my most recent high. So if I'm going up, I want to see what target we're shooting for. So a lot of times I'll have to go up to a higher time frame. Oops. So if we're in an uptrend, I want to see the most recent highs. Okay. So I know that what we're kind of heading towards or cruising to. All right. So we could possibly go to 77.95, 77.97. And all I'm doing is I'm looking at the price scale on the side over here. Okay. So we have some targets above us and below us. So, oops, let's see how this trade plays out. I'm going to try to fit it all on the same screen. There. Okay. Let me just check the chat. Do you guys have any questions? Look, you guys are making friends in here. I love this. You guys are literally talking to each other. That's super cool. A lot of you guys have been following me for a while, or you guys are meeting each other in the class every morning. So I do this every morning, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, and we just trade. We analyze a chart, take some trades, talk about it. Cash class. This is my second day here, and you say you do this every day, but yesterday you didn't make any money. Do you take bad trades? We all know how to do that. Can you just take good trades? No, I'm on purpose taking some bad trades. And I told you why. Because when I'm teaching, I want to explain why some of the good trades worked out and why some of the bad trades worked out. And we're going to get to exactly what happened yesterday. You can ask people in the chat. I do take good trades. I do take winning trades. Overall, I finished my week green. We're going to have red trades. We're going to have red days. That's just a part of trading. But you don't get hung up on that kind of stuff. Okay? Grandpa Trades and Patrick. I love it. Yeah, and trading is trading. Even if I follow the criteria to a T, some trades just fail because the market's going to do what the market wants to do. There is no strategy, you guys. I'm going to break it to you. There's no strategy, even AI with a robot. There is no strategy that's 100% win rate. Do you know why? Because you can't predict the market. Nobody can. It's live. The other thing is, us traders, retail traders, do you know what trips us up? So we have a very high win rate with gold pattern. It's over 80%, over 85%. Okay. You know what trips you up? What's between your ears? Okay. The mindset. All right. All right. Let me check the other chat. What are we trading today? We're trading MES, the S&P Futures 500 Futures Index. Mr. Jason C. Do you trade gold futures? I do trade gold futures at night. All right. So we're almost to take profit. What indicators do you use? I only use RSI. And then I'm just looking at the trend and the micro trend. So like the larger trend and the smaller trend. That's it. Trading can be easy. Not that trading is easy, but it can be easy. Think about it. If you guys look at my chart, you're like, what is happening? There's only 3 lines on my chart. I don't trade with candles. I don't need to see a bunch of different things. I literally are just looking for a pattern. I'm looking for divergence, and then I look for an entry point in the RSI. That's it. That is it. I'm pretty sure we hit my take profit, but it didn't trigger right here. But we should get it right here. It hit it again. I don't know why it's not exiting. One more. Almost there. Oh, it did hit it. It's even showing us that it hit it. I don't know why it didn't actually close the trade, but we did predict the correct direction. We did have divergence. So the blue line was pointing up. The orange line was pointing down. We had the white line pop down for the entry point over here. Right there. And we entered the trade to go long or buy or to go upwards. All right, let's get out of this trade. All right, there. So first green trade. So now we'll look for the next one. So we're still in an uptrend, right? We're still making new highs, equal highs, but we don't have any divergence, right? Parallel lines, that's no divergence, that's no trade. So typically the gold pattern shows up every few minutes and we just wait for the next one. So we are actually going to mark off the chart from 927. to 9:33, we're not going to actively be in a trade or placing a trade within that window, because at the 9:30 mark is the stock market open Eastern time, and it tends to send this futures market all over the place, up and down. Pretty large volume will step in and we'll start changing the trend. So we're going to give it a few minutes, and then we'll jump back into a trade as soon as the trend reestablishes itself and we trust it. We trust it enough to trade it, right? So don't worry, we will do it. I know, Grandpa Trades, sometimes the trades take a while. We are in pre-market. What does that mean? That means that we are trading before the market opens at 9:30. So some pre-market mornings, the market's a little bit slower because the volume hasn't stepped in yet. And sometimes we don't get the pattern early in pre-market. Sometimes we do have to wait, and that's okay. We just wait for a good trade. Yeah, I agree, Patrick. Patrick says, knowledge is better than watching someone win. Knowing the difference between good and bad trades is priceless. It is. Yes. You guys can ask people in the chat. People have been in here for quite a while, and we all trade together. You can ask them, are you guys profitable? Do you guys know how to trade? Now, just watching me explaining what I'm doing and what I'm looking for in the trades that I take, I'm pretty sure most of you guys can trade on your own and be green and profitable. Cash class. I've been trading for a long time and I'm still looking for a good strategy. Hoping this is it. Just saying that I would love to see you finish the day with profit. Same. That's everybody's goal when we're trading. Like, let's be real. We're all traders. We're all competitive. We all want to win. But the trading mindset that I mentioned, you can't get hung up on like, oh, I need this trade to be green or I need to be green today. No, it's a game of probability. Okay? Let's be real. Trust me, I want to finish with profit too, but my goal isn't to finish the day green. I want to finish the week green. I'm looking at the bigger picture because I'm looking at payouts. I'm trying to attain payouts, okay? I'm trying to get paid here. I don't care about the individual trader of the day. Grandpa Trades, I was happy to exit no clear direction momentum, and it was in way longer than preferred. Grandpa Trades, I agree. Let's talk about that. So I would have exited this trade for two reasons, because so we were in an uptrend. We had divergence here. I'm going to show you guys. So we had the blue line pointing up. We had the orange line pointing down. It looked like that. I entered the trade when we got the pop down right there, right, in the RSI, and we took the trade going up. But what happened after we entered the trade? If you guys were here yesterday, the price went flat. And what happened to the RSI? The RSI also went flat. So when the price goes flat and the RSI goes flat, it's almost like MES is running out of gas. It's running out of steam. It's taking a break, but it becomes a little bit unpredictable at that point, because when it starts going sideways and it's not making any more new highs, it could be a reversal. Nobody can predict a reversal. It happens. But when your price goes flat and your RSI, it is okay to exit your trade. So, Grandpa Trades, you managed that trade well. If that's what you saw, that's perfectly fine. All right, so we're getting some divergence. So the blue line is flat, which means it's still pointing more upwards than the orange line. So it is still telling us that it wants to go up, but we are getting ever so close to 927. So the divergence isn't that strong. As you guys can see, the orange line is dropping pretty hard. And now MES is starting to follow, but not as dramatic. So now the divergence lines are turning. So we're losing our divergence pretty quickly. And that's okay. We don't have to take every trade or every pattern. You guys know that. All right. So the closer we get to 927 and 930 for the market open, these little movements of the blue line are going to get much larger. And they're going to start taking up most of my screen, just going back and forth. So we're losing our divergence. We now have parallel lines, so no trade right here. And we'll just wait for the next one. That's all we do. Which platform do you use for the transaction? So I use tradingview.com, and then I trade on prop firms, and I connect my prop firm through Tradeovate for free into TradingView. So I practice on this chart and I trade on this chart with real accounts. It's very easy. I don't know if that sounded complicated, but you guys can easily look it up how to do it. Good morning, new here. What time frame are you using to observe? George Grant, I'm looking at a 1 second chart. We're trading on a 1 second chart. Do not be scared by that, or, I mean, I'm sure you're shocked, but it actually really works for this pattern that we're trading. All right, so our divergence lines are changing. So we were going down for just a little bit. Now we're turning back up, and it's going to be a bumpy ride right here, you guys. So let's see if we make some new highs and we continue on this uptrend that we're in right now. Or let's see if we reverse and start going downwards into a downtrend. What do you guys think this morning? Are we going up or down? Pablo says, using the bad trade education as a reference, what would be a proper risk management? Whatever you feel comfortable with. So with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, your win rate needs to be over 55%. If you do like a 1 to 1.5 or a 1 to 2, you can have a lower win rate and still be profitable. So at least a 1-to-1, if not higher. Someone says, what do you look for when setting your parameters to take profit and stop loss? How do you know how much to aim for? So good question. So if I enter a trade, I'm looking at the most recent highs and lows. So say I'm just going to place a trade here just to see the brackets. Not like I need, like I'm not trying to take a trade. So I'll put my take profit near the most recent high, and I'll put my stop loss near the most recent low. Okay. Or I'll look for the next high, because I do at least want them to be 1-to-1, right? But you look at the most recent movements that the trend has been making. Let me just close that. But our movements are going to get much larger in literally a few seconds. So I'm going to move this over to 933 so we can start looking for trades after that. So it's going to get a little wild here, you guys. And it's always fun to watch because every day is different. The highest value in these trading sessions is the logic reasoning behind each decision. Yes, I agree. Grandpa Trades, I've been following along for several weeks and can personally attest to a positive win rate over 65%. Yeah, Grandpa Trades, you've been around for a little bit, because I've been doing this live since March, and you've definitely been around since the beginning of summer for sure. Cash Class, would this work for Thinkorswim or NinjaTrader? So we actually use, so NinjaTrader owns Tradeovate and we use Tradeovate. So technically NinjaTrader, all you do, I'm going to show you. All right, so we're getting divergence. Hold on 1 second. We're getting divergence here. So the blue line is pointing upwards, orange line is pointing down. It's telling us that the blue line wants to go up. But we are approaching 930, which is basically right here where I have my cursor. And this can change the trend. This can change the divergence lines to a different direction. But this divergence is very beautiful, just to point it out. Blue line's going up, orange line is pointing down. But technically we're going sideways, right? The blue line is going sideways. No clear trend just yet. So we want to see the blue line make new highs, surpass these highs, or if it starts reversing and going down, I want it to surpass these lows and these lows for a clear downtrend. For an uptrend, I need it to surpass these highs. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. All right. So there's market open. Just wait. Here come the fireworks. Oops. Tommy Cycle says, which prop firm do you use? I use a bunch of different prop firms. If you guys want, I can give you guys our affiliate code. It is an affiliate code, so we do earn a small commission. And so I use Lucid, I use Take Profit Trader, I use Top Step, My Funded Futures, Apex. I know I'm forgetting some. Top One Futures, and our affiliate code is 20MT, 20 Minute Trader, 20 capital M, capital T. And you guys can also get a pretty sweet discount using our code. All right, so you guys see how these movements have gotten much larger versus these little ones. So volume is stepping in. Our divergence lines are changing, right? Blue line is now pointing down. It was pointing upwards. Now it's pointing down. Orange line is pointing up. So temporarily it's telling us that it wants to go down, but look at the blue line, it's reversing. So the trend isn't predictable right now and you can't really trust it just yet. So let it establish itself, because these movements, this blue line is going to change. Now it's pointing down. It's going to start pointing up in just a moment if it keeps going up. So if we continue on this uptrend, once again, I want it to surpass these highs, or if it turns around and reverses, I need it to surpass these lows down here. Okay. So divergence lines are changing. We're just going to wait and see. Yes, Grandpa trades no trade zone for sure. He says, this system works if you have, where was it? This system works if you have well-defined rules and actually follow them. Grandpa trades. That's the biggest thing when it comes to trading, is actually the patience and the discipline, is waiting for the pattern to show up and knowing when to enter and when not to enter. Because look, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes we will have beautiful divergence, a beautiful trend, and we don't get the entry point in the white line in the RSI. And we just let the trade go. We just watch it and we're like, oh, that wasn't my trade, right? I'll wait for the next one. Sometimes you'll have a good trend, no divergence, and a beautiful entry point, but you don't have all the criteria, so you don't take the trade. It's that easy. It gets much easier, you guys. I promise. Friends and family view. Hey, Kai, I fixed the issue. I'm here. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. All right, let me check the other chat, see what's going on in here. Everything is a mindset. It's true. You come into the market, calm, cool, and collected, disciplined, be like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to be very picky. Let the trades come to you. And that's more than half the battle right there. And then typically you have a good day trading. So our divergence lines are changing, right? Blue line's pointing up, orange line is pointing down. What do we need to take this trade, everybody? What do we need the white line to do? Making new highs? Beautiful. Let's stay on this uptrend. We need the white line to pop down. All right, I'm going to get rid of this line. So we need this white RSI to drop down to get an entry point, or we don't take the trade. So let's see what it looks like. So we enter the trade right there. RSI dropped down. Trading the blue line upwards. Let me try to fit it on the chart. So blue line's going up. Beautiful divergence. Textbook. Blue line straight up. Orange is down. We are still making new highs. RSI is staying in the upper half. This is good. If we're trading upwards, we want the RSI either moving up or staying in that upper half, okay? When I say staying in the upper half, staying above this center line is good. Okay, look, there we go. There's another green trade. There we go. Another take profit. There we go. Good stuff. We're continuing on an uptrend. We're making new highs. So let me review that trade really quick. So I'm going to leave the divergence is there. I don't really have to draw the divergence, but we went for a long or a buy or to trade upwards. We entered right here. We had our take profit somewhere around there. We had our stop loss below us. And that was pretty much a 1 to 1.5. So I was risking $45 to make over $60, right? Just one quick trade, Literally made over $60 in one trade. $60 before work is great. Some days we absolutely kill it, right? We make a couple $100 before we go into work. Every day is different. And look, we're still pushing up. If we would have done a trailing stop, that right there is a 1 to 3. So $45 was our risk. We could have made over $130 in this one trade. But you don't want to push the envelope that much. You want to get in, you want to get out. You can trail this, which means if you take your stop loss, which is in the negative, you can bring it up to either break even or into the positive. Then you're in a risk-free trade. No matter what, even if the trend turns around on you, you're still going to take some green out of that trade. It's a risk-free trade because no matter what, you're going to make a few bucks or you take profit. Okay? So nice trade. We're still making new highs. We still have beautiful divergence, right? Blue line's going up, orange line is going down. So if you guys wanted to continue on this trend, what do you guys need to enter this trade? We need that white line to pop down because if blue line's pointing up, I need the white line to pop down, get in on the pullback, and keep taking the trade going upwards. But divergence is very, very good, right? We have blue line going up, orange line going down. Good trend, good trend. Still making new highs, but look, we may have beautiful divergence like I talked about. We do have a very nice trend, but we're not getting that entry point. The RSI is not pulling back, neither is the price, okay? In every trend, there's gonna be a pullback. A pullback doesn't necessarily mean a reversal, but it needs to breathe, right? It needs to breathe. If we're going in an uptrend and there's more buyers right now and they're pushing price up, the sellers need to step in and the buyers need to pick up some sell orders to drop the price temporarily to keep going, right? Because you're going to run out of gas. You're going to run out of energy here. So we're going to get a pullback and then hopefully it's going to continue on an uptrend. Or if it runs out of steam and there's no more orders up there, we can have a reversal, okay? So beautiful trend, no entry point. And this is okay. This happens. You just watch the trade and be like, that's a beautiful trend. But you don't force a trade or just jump in because you never know where it's going to reverse or pull back on you. And that's when it's going to hit your stop loss. We don't want the trade to hit our stop loss because we're not being patient, right? So here's a pullback. If somebody would have entered a trade right here, it's not that strong or deep. So let's see if this trade would have worked out. So if we would have entered right here, and I'm just going to move this over here. So, oops. So if we would have entered right here at the drop down to take the trade going upwards, we might lose this trade because we're entering when it's very high up here. We're not making any new highs just yet. And the pullback can take us out, okay, and hit our stop loss. So let me put that to recent lows, recent highs, there. I'm just going to do a quick one-to-one. And you guys see how we're starting to go flat, like we talked about earlier. So now price is going flat. RSI is going flat. So it's running out of steam right here. All right, looks like we would have hit take profit. So that would have been another good trade on the same trend, but a little bit riskier of a trade. But it still would have worked out. We're trading with the trend. We're still going upwards. And we'll just keep watching, see if we see another one. All right, let me check the chat. Yes, 1 second chart. West Wolf, I couldn't figure out how to get 1 second chart. It appeared to be grayed out. Is that only a part of a specific platform subscription? Yes, so you can get the free trial, but I think it has delayed data. It's like a 30-day free trial. But since we're using a 1-second chart, it's a lot of data in the feed. So you're basically just paying for data. And it is the premium subscription with the CME data package for the futures market. Because again, you're paying for data because the futures market is open 23 hours a day. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. So with the futures market being open 23 hours a day, it's super beneficial for a lot of people because it doesn't matter your time zone. The market is open 23 hours a day. So you can trade whatever fits your schedule. Okay. So if you're an early bird and you want to trade before work, the market is open and moving. If you want to come home from work, get in front of the computer and trade at night, you guys can do that as well. So any time of day you guys can trade. It's only going to close from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern time daily. Other than that, you guys can watch and see if you guys spot the pattern and take some trades. Smitty says, can you copy trade across different prop firms on TradingView? No, but you can get a third-party trade copier like Tradecopia or TradeSyncer, or if you use TopStep and you have multiple accounts in TopStep, you can copy trade in TopStep for free. That's the only one I know about that's free. Dark Sun said, what app are you using? I'm using TradingView. What are the blue and the orange lines? The blue line is the MES or the S&P 500 Futures Index. The orange line is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the YM is the ticker or the symbol. All right, let me bounce back over here. Got it, got it. All right, so definitely getting a pullback right here. Let's see if it's going to be a reversal or if it's just going to be a pullback. But the divergence is barely there, so we're not going to trade that. Not going to trade that. Because it's so weak that it can just either collapse or turn against us. So that's why I'm not going to take it. So if anything, we're getting some divergence going downwards right now. But for this to now change into a downtrend, I'm going to need to see a few different things. Okay. So we are pulling back. This might be a reversal because we are making lower highs. We're making lower lows, right? They're getting lower. We also surpassed these lows. Now we're approaching these lows. Let's see what happens. If we still keep passing some of these lows, then that'll be a reversal. So if this just keeps on going, that'll be a reversal. But we have parallel lines, so no divergence, no trade. We're not even looking for a trade right now. We're just waiting for the trend to either stay in an uptrend or it's going to reverse, and we can trade it going down. We can still make money on the way down, but we have to have divergence and we have to have the entry point in the RSI. Friends and family, 140, you're very green. How do I get the straight line laid over the ticker line? So they're actually called widgets. And if you're a 20-minute trader that trades the gold pattern, you get these free. You give us your username in TradingView. Sometimes it's your email, and you just get them on your chart. But you don't need them. You don't need them. A lot of students don't even use them. But while I'm teaching you guys, it's much easier to spot divergence because if I hide them, let me see. I can actually hide the lines, the thick lines, and I can just trade the little lines, like the thin line in the background. I can see divergence just looking at the blue and the orange line. All right, so we still don't have any divergence, but we are making new lows. We are making lower highs, but the Dow and MES are dropping together, okay? So let's just see what happens. Whoops. So we're starting to split apart our lines, but it looks like the Dow is following MES. And look, our divergence lines are switching from going downwards to now going upwards. So divergence is getting much better. Blue line's pointing up, orange line is pointing down. So what do you guys need to enter this trade? What do we all need to enter this trade in the white line? Let's see if we make some new highs. So we need the white line to pop down, right? So we need RSI to pull back to get an entry point. Okay. And I'm going to explain something that happened over here that you guys can also take notice of. And sometimes the trade, the price will take off and we won't even get the entry point. And that's okay. It happens. You don't even think about it. You're like, that just wasn't a good enough trade for me. How far does the white line need to pop down? Just a pretty big movement, right? Like I don't want just one of these small little bumps. I want like the white line to really, I call it a pop, like a meaningful movement, we call it, because we don't quantify it. We don't give it a number in the RSI, but it just has to look much larger than the most recent movements. Not really getting too much of a pullback. I'm interested to see when this actually pulls back, how far it's going to go. And if we don't take any more trades, that's completely fine. We're ending today green. Everybody should be good. How is meaningful defined? Just larger than the most recent movements. You see how these are very small movements down here? I want it to be a big one like this one, or like this move. Like this is a good move right here. It's like almost half the size, but it doesn't always have to be that large. So we're still not getting the white line to drop. And I don't like it. I'm not going to take the trade. So this also happened over here. So we were in this uptrend, right? We were in this uptrend. And our RSI is pretty much doing the same thing. The RSI went flat up here, but price was still pushing up, right? And then we got an entry over here and got a nice little trade. But we had to wait for that pop down, right? Because say we would have entered the trade over here. We didn't have any divergence over here. Let me get rid of some of these lines. Okay, it's dropping finally. Let's see the pullback. Dow's dropping, orange line's dropping. We also don't have any divergence right now, right? So I wouldn't take this trade, but I do want to see the drop down because the trade would look like this. Okay. And I want to explain probably why this is not going to work out. Okay. I'm going to leave that there. We still have good divergence though. Blue line's pointing up, orange line is pointing down. But let's talk about over here really quick. So we were in a very good uptrend, right? But we didn't have any divergence around here and we actually started coming down. So when we got the pop down here, right, we didn't have divergence. So if we would have entered a trade to go up over here, look what would have happened. We would have lost this trade because there was no divergence. Even though the white line pulled back, what happened? The white line continued to move down, okay? And it did. The RSI went down and it pushed price down and it would have hit our stop loss right here. And this was still technically a pullback because yes, we're in an uptrend, okay? We're in an uptrend, but there's a pullback. So it takes a breath and then look, it continues on an uptrend. Okay, so this was just a pullback. This wasn't a reversal. And the pullback would have hit our stop loss right here. Okay. So that's why we want to enter on the pullback, because think about it. If I get rid of all this stuff so you guys can see clearly. If I would have entered on the pullback, right? Oh, I got one more to get rid of. Get rid of this. If we would have entered on the pullback, right? We could have gotten in somewhere over here and the trade would have looked like this. And look, we would have been immediately into profit. Okay. So we want to enter when the RSI tells us to, but we also need divergence at the same time. So let's see what happened in this trade. It looks like we would have hit take profit just barely. We are making equal highs. And we still have, this is long divergence. So blue line is flat right now, I know, but the orange line is down in the opposite direction. So if blue line's flat, that still means it wants to go up, or it's maintaining the sideways, which is a very strong bullish momentum. Like, it's telling us that it does have more energy to continue going up possibly. So let's see what happens. It should push up one more time at least, but we are making equal highs. There we go. It just pushed up. So this would have been another winning trade. So the trade looked like this. So blue line was flat. Dow was down. Okay. This is long divergence to continue going up. We got in right here for the trade to go long. Where is it? So the trade looked like that. I put it near the most recent highs. See, we enter on the pullback and it continues to push up, right? The RSI is staying in the upper half. What is it doing? It's pushing price up. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. All right, cool. We got some really good trades today. Yesterday, we did have CPI, which was being anticipated. We wait every month for that report. But what happened yesterday was we had a downtrend, and then we just went sideways for like, 30 minutes? And we were trading in a sideways range. That's not to be traded. Typically, we never trade that. And look at today. Today, we get a beautiful uptrend. We had some great trades. And we learned a few things. Just analyzing the market. So parallel lines, no trade. The trend is kind of fizzling out. So all in all, good stuff. Grandpa trades, 1 break even, 2 wins. Nice. Great job. Great job. Looks like a lot of you guys did very well this morning. I hope that you guys learned a lot. I'm going to head out. We are coming up on 10 o'clock. Make sure that you guys aren't in a trade from 9:57 to 10:03, because at 10 o'clock on the hour, there tends to be a lot of volume stepping in as well. So protect your green. You guys lock out of your accounts. Go on with your day. We will do this. So tomorrow we are not trading. We'll be back here Monday morning. Okay, just giving you guys a heads up. Getting tongue-tied at the end here. So I will be back here Monday, 9 a.m. sharp, and we will get back into the charts, see what happened on Friday for our retail sales, and we will do it all over again. We will analyze the charts and take some trades. I hope everybody has an awesome, awesome Thursday. I hope that you guys are staying green and locking out. If you guys don't see any trades tomorrow, don't force it, right? We don't have to trade every single day. Keep practicing, keep learning. Feel free to tune in again Monday morning. If you guys are interested in 20-minute trader or the gold pattern that we traded all morning, type the word class in the comments right now if you guys are in Facebook or Instagram, and we will send you a free ticket to Jeremy's web class to learn more. If you guys are in YouTube or anywhere else, just click the link in the description and you guys can get access with a free ticket to Jeremy's web class. Learn a little bit about, a little bit more about 20-minute trader and the gold pattern and why we love trading this, right? Thousands of us trade this every single day, Jeremy included. So feel free to ask him questions as well. I will see you guys Monday. You guys are very, very welcome. I will see you guys on another episode of 20-Minute Trader TV. Later, traders.